So one of the powerful use cases of these large language models is the ability to call upon certain functions. All right. As the name suggests, it calls a certain function. These functions can be anything from an API call to any other customized functions. All right. In this case, I'm using a Gemini API and a sample database, and I've created three functions. The first one is the list tables. Okay, so let me tell you first about this web application. Is a Streamlit based application, Text-to-SQL, which I believe is a perfect example, practical example of this function calling. All right, where I have created the three functions. The first one is the list table that gives a list of a database, a list of columns within a database. And secondly, we have describe tables that gives the schema of a given table. And thirdly, it executes a certain query, three functions. All right, we call this the tools, and these tools will be configured within generative AI configuration, and I'm using the Gemini Flash model. And this is the rest of the code, and let's get into the so we are at this GUI, and let's explore the database schema first. There are a couple of tables here: the album, the artist, the customer, employee, and more. I have some samples question to query the database. First, this one. Okay. So how many tracks are there in a rock genre? Let's submit this query and see the result. So under the hood, what it actually doing, it's calling those functions like the list of tables or the schema function. And after running this query, it has given us the output like there are 1297 tracks in the rock genre. I can actually test this query right here to see if it's true or not. Hold on. If I run this query, I must be able to get the similar results. 1297, which is similar to this output. All right, and let's explore another question. Which artist has the most albums? Iron Maiden has the most albums with 21 albums in the database. So let's test this out, and we can see we are getting that similar result, the Iron Maiden with 21 albums. So as you just saw, I am using a natural language to communicate with the database, and it's amazing that most of the time it is giving us the accurate response. Sometimes it fails, but most of the time it works well.